Welcome to the Hanford Dixon Show with the top dog. And I'm Gabriella Cruz. We are coming off a great weekend, Hanford. We're celebrating a Victory Monday finally again.
Gab, I tell you, I can't believe it. I mean, what a win. But, I'm upset with you because you know what you have to ask me right off the rip.
Well, if you gave me a chance,
well,
I was getting there. Jeez.
I know
I just want to be, first shutout since 07. Nothing. This guy is just too excited for me to ask. What did you do yesterday, Hanford?
Well, you know what? My day started off really, really early. I got to the stadium probably about 9 o'clock. I was so excited for this football game. I knew this was going to be a get-right game for us. So I got there really early, and Gab, I do this other TV show, pregame show, and we did it.
I know you're a hot commodity.
Well, normally we do it live on the field, but this time we didn't. We did it up in the Cardiac Club. So I was up there and did the show, and after that had to go down to one of the lounges and, speak there. So to make a long story short, as usual, didn't really get a chance to see much of the game until about 3 o'clock this morning. That's because I tape every game and get a chance to go back and watch everything, and then left the stadium trying to catch an Uber, trying to go home. And you want to hear something that was really, really funny. I'm standing on the corner, I think it's West 6 and Superior, and I see this car goes by, and there's this young lady in there, and I'm telling you, the young lady looked just like you. And I said, damn, that's Gab. What is she doing? So I jump on the phone and I call you. I said, Gab, where are you? Did you just pass West 6 and Superior? And you were like, no, that was not me. But anyway.
No, my guy. How many Dortmunders did you have at the game?
Yesterday I was able to have a couple of them because I wasn't, I didn't
You
have.
should know by my yellow Jeep. If it's not somebody with the windows down singing yellow Jeep, then it's probably not.
Well, Gab, that's why finally I said, but that was crazy to me because you wasn't in a yellow Jeep. But I'm telling you, it looked just like. Anyway, what was your day like yesterday?
Oh, I love that you asked me mine. Mine was a lot less interesting than yours. I went to my sister's house, Sunday fun day.
Oh.
So, the whole family goes over and we play games. We watch a lot of football. We make some bets on Tipico.
Hopefully you won.
My sister made a 9-leg parlay for the Cavs.
Wow.
And she hit it. She won like $350. Her boyfriend copied the bet, and he placed it an hour later than her, so he ended up winning almost $500.
Wow.
Yeah. So I had them Venmo me $5. Whenever anyone wins, I'm like, can I have $5? That's kind of my thing. But we're all winners today because the Browns got the dub. What a big one it was. And we're actually going to welcome on a very special guest today. We've got Browns legendary running back and return man, 3-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All-Pro Eric Metcalf joining the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming in studio.
Thanks for having me.
How you doing, big dog?
I'm doing all right. How about you?
And how was your busy day yesterday?
My day was busy. My day was busy. And
Oh, that's right. I'm not cutting you off, and I want you to talk about this. I just realized this. Didn't I see we gave away like $25K to this family yesterday,
military
and I think
family.
you were the one.
Family,
Tell
yes.
us about that.
So it was fun. It was great. I mean, they didn't know they were getting the $25,000. Both the husband and the wife served in the military, and so they didn't know they were getting it, and they just had me come out there as one of the Browns legends and give them them the check, and so it was great because they didn't expect it.
Yeah.
It was a way that Union Home and Mortgage could help them out, and they did that, and so everybody just loved the moment.
That's awesome.
Gab, I understand too. When he gave the check to the family, the wife really got emotional, didn't she?
She did. She was crying, bawling, because like I said, they did not expect it, and so when someone gives you $25,000 you're not expecting, you're kind of happy.
That's so cool.
I told the son, don't spend it all in one place.
Those are the feel-good stories, though, and the things that I love watching. Those are the ones you rewatch over and over.
Right.
I hope they put that online.
When I was holding, I felt like Happy Gilmore. I was like, I want the big check. Give me the big checks.
Hey, you guys got any extras?
Right.
Since you're giving them out.
Eric, we want to talk about your football career and your post-playing days before we actually jump in and break down this 27-0 win. Is that cool with you, Hanford?
Absolutely.
It's your show, but I feel like we gotta talk to the guest.
It's our
ask all
show,
the-
Gab. It's
Aw,
our
that's my
show.
guy.
It's our
You know
show.
what? I might roast you. You might roast me. But that's my guy. Yeah, so, all right. Well, let's go back to the beginning here. What were you thinking when the Browns drafted you in the first round back in 1989?
I was like, oh Lord, Cleveland, Ohio.
Oh, here we go.
No, this is real. I was like, oh Lord, Cleveland, Ohio. You know, I had been in college at Texas, playing on AstroTurf, which everyone played on back then, at least 70 degrees every football game.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was thinking, I don't know how this is gonna work because I've seen them on TV. It's really cold. They're playing on dirt. That's not even grass. So for someone who thinks they're kind of fast, it's like the trek was gonna be kind of slow, right? And so the whole time I'm thinking, I'm not. I'm first and foremost, let me say this: when you get drafted, you're happy, regardless of where it is, because that's what you've been playing for up to that point all your life, and I could tell you a backstory about it in regards to Mike Lombardi. So when I was a freshman in college, Mike Lombardi was then with the San Francisco 49ers. And
Tell everybody who Mike Lombardi is.
Mike-
A lot of them don't. Yeah.
Oh, Mike Lombardi, he was our player personnel guy
Right.
back then.
Absolutely.
And then he went was Frisco, worked with the Browns. He then went with Bill to New England, right? And so then he's been on NFL Network, has written a few books and everything. And so Mike is well versed in NFL football. And so my freshman year, they come to Texas Pro Day, and I'm just standing out there because I competed in track, so I'm not doing anything. And he tells me, I'm going to draft you when you're a senior. I was like, okay, sure, whatever.
No.
I'm a freshman. It's 3 years. I would have to wait, and so I'm cool. That's fine. So fast forward, 1989, 2 days before the draft, Mike is now with the Browns. He comes to Austin 2 days before the draft, and he's like, I need you to run all these tests. We're talking about drafting you. And I was like, absolutely not.
No, you did.
Yes, I did. I was like, absolutely not. No way. And he kept.
I would have loved to have just watched his face when you
and
said that.
And he kept asking me. He was like, no, really, we're talking about drafting you. We flew all the way down here. I was like, first you didn't tell me you're coming. I had just finished playing basketball, like all day. I just finished playing basketball, and he's like, okay, you're not gonna do it? I was like, no. He said, why wouldn't you do it? I said, because my thinking is this: if I do it, and I'm not as fast as you think I am,
Yeah.
then do you still draft me?
That was smart.
Okay.
That was
Yeah, so
smart.
you were worried about doing all these tests after you were exhausted from basketball.
No, not really.
Yeah.
I really just didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
But that was my
okay.
excuse. And so then they draft me.
Okay.
They trade up.
What did you
draft
run?
me.
No, first of all, real quick detour, because I'm a track nerd and I ran in college too. What was your event? Long jump?
Long jump.
Okay, and you
Yes.
had a couple of really significant accolades. Was it national championships or just
I
all
was
American?
2-time national
Yeah,
champion.
that's pretty sick.
in long jump. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to be pretty quick and powerful for that. So that
so-
translated very well.
Yeah, and so then they drafted me, and I was like, okay, so I'm happy.
Mm-hmm.
And then I come to Cleveland for minicamp in May, and it snows, and that's when I was really like,
That's when it hit you.
it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. Fast forward again, I held out the summer, came in, started playing with these guys who took me in like a little brother. Loved Cleveland ever since.
Let me tell you why I like that story, because I remember when I was coming out of college, and you know how they send the scouts down, and Gab, what they do is they want to time you, they want to test you, they want to have you do all these drills. And mine was a little bit different. I didn't say that I wasn't going to run. I actually ran for them. And this was the 40-yard dash. And I remember I ran my time, I think I ran like a 4.36 or 7 or something like that.
Did you really?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
And they wanted me to run again. And I said, nope.
I'm cool with
I
that.
said, nope.
You got.
I said, I'm cool with that. I said, your clock is right. I'm not running again.
Right.
And if you missed it, talk to some of the other people that taped it. But I'm not going to do it again. So that's why I can relate to that story a little bit about you said, hey, I'm not going to run for you. You know,
Doing it.
because when you think about it, they have all this tape on you. They already know what you could do. I mean, what the hell are you going to run for them for? They crazy.
I was not going to run with him, and I didn't.
let me ask you this, Eric, and everybody, and obviously you come from a football family, but when did you know that you were good enough? I mean, obviously you played at Texas. When did you know that you were good enough to play, to take it to the next level in the NFL?
Well, to be honest, in my mind, when I was like 8 years old, I was like, I know I'm going to the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
And it's partly because my dad played.
Right.
So these were footsteps that I wanted to follow in. But as a 7-year-old, I scored 10 touchdowns in a game once. And so I was like, yeah, I'm pretty good. This could work out.
And it just kept. You scored how many?
10, and 3 got called back. But I still count them. Because I would touch that end zone. So
how much did your dad help you prepare for the NFL?
You know what? My dad never did. He wanted me to do it on my own. He didn't want to feel like he was living it through me, his life again through me. He just wanted me to handle my business. But I did. I had the time to watch everything that he went through, watch film of him and his teams when they played. So I kind of learned that way.
Cool. Well, thanks so much for sharing. We've got to take our first break. We'll be back with Eric Metcalf and, of course, the top dog right after this. Welcome back to the Hanford Dixon Show with the top dog, Hanford Dixon. Today we are joined in studio by Eric Metcalf, and we're also bringing on a very special guest, another special guest. We've had him on the show before.
Gab, hold on before you ask him a question, bring him on. I got one thing to say.
What's that?
Roll Tide, goddammit, Roll Tide. That's all I got to say.
Well, then I got another thing to say. Didn't them Longhorns roll up in there and whoop the tail? How about that?
Oh, boy, we're going to have a rowdy crowd.
How about that?
But please welcome NFL Hall of Famer, former tight end for the Browns, and the current executive VP for the Baltimore Ravens, Ozzie Newsome. Thank you so much for joining us once again.
Thanks. It's always good to get a chance to talk to Hanford. And now that you got Eric on also, it's going to be a fun 10 or 15 minutes.
You talking about, why you have to bring up that Texas shit?
Because you brought up that Roll Tide.
Oh, God.
Yeah, you guys are just trying to roast each other out here today, which is good stuff. Well, first of all, in the break, I know you guys were all talking about your favorite drink of choice. You crazy rowdy guys. Listen, speaking of rowdy, Ozzie, how excited are you, and what's your analysis of this incredibly dominant Ravens team?
Well, I think the biggest thing is that, we suffered some injuries early, which allowed us to build some depth. Now that we're getting healthy as a team, we got good depth. The guys seem to be committed, and we're just looking forward to this last stretch. If you got to win in November, to be there in December. So that's what we're trying to do.
In the past few years, you guys have been decimated with injuries, in particular Lamar. Is there anything you're doing differently with him to protect him?
Well, we brought in Todd Monken, who brought in a system. I think Lamar has a very good understanding of the system. I think we've stayed pretty healthy on the offensive line, and we got some weapons to surround him with. And so I think he's getting the ball out a little quicker because guys are getting open sooner.
Ozzie, I have a big question. I know you, along with everybody before the trade line, you guys was maybe trying to make a move at running back, but now you have this kid, man, Mitchell, yesterday from East Carolina, who just showed out. I mean, does that make it a little easier in that running back room now?
Well, we've had Keaton since the draft. He was an undrafted college free agent. His father played here for 10 years. So we had him here. We recognized the talent. He got injured, and we wanted to make sure that he was completely healthy before we got him back on the field, which was last week. and some on special teams, and then maybe a couple of snaps on offense. But this week he was able to increase his role, and you could see the speed and the burst that he has.
Ozzie, that defense, I'm going to bring a smile to your face. That defense right now is playing. God damn, they playing ball. It's all started with Patrick Queen. Obviously, Geno Stone has been a pleasant surprise, but that defense right now is real.
Well, I think, you have to look back to the trade that Eric made last year, bringing in Roquan, somebody that understands defense. He was able to settle everyone down. We were able to move Patrick over to Will. And I think Roquan taking a lot of credit. Now, Marlon has gotten healthy. And I think we're doing a very good job. Clowney, Eric signed him. And he's, providing some pass rush for us. So I think we're playing good at all three levels. But just like Cleveland is playing at all three levels on defense too. And that's the way you have to play in this league.
We're going to have ourselves a little showdown coming next week. You're going to have to come back on the show after next week. So, because one of us is going to be roasting the other person.
I got a quick question. Does that defense remind you any of that 2000 Ravens defense?
Well,
I knew it. Look at that smile on his face. This is gonna be tough to answer.
And I'm gonna tell you what Rex Ryan was saying. You forgetting about that defense we had when we went 13-3. So we love play defense around here. And you always say if they don't score, you don't lose.
And Ozzie, Lamar, when you drafted him, now is he putting a smile on your face the way he's playing?
Yes, he is, but he's putting a smile on his own face. Lamar loves the game. He's a football. He's a football junkie, and right now he's just playing the way that we all expected him to play. But more importantly, the way he expected to play.
And I love Lamar as an athlete and a football player, but what I've heard people talking about, especially around your camp, is his leadership and how that's changed as he's gotten older. Can you explain that?
Well, I mean, you lead by example in the way that he practices. I mean, every day you go out on the practice field, he's out there. He's very aware of what needs to be done. So, he does that. And, of course, I don't go that much into the locker room, but Lamar has a presence about him. And when you're around him, it's infectious, So, but you know what? Like I say, he loves the game of football. He enjoying this group that he's playing with right now. So he's having fun.
Before we let you go, tell us, how good is this AFC North?
I can see three teams probably making the playoffs. The problem is that we all got to play each other over the course of the next 8 or 9 games. But I think three teams may come out of the AFC North in the playoffs, and that's going to make it tough. I just hope that we're one of them.
Of course.
Ozzie, thank you so much for your time. I know you're a busy guy. These guys were even telling you, hey, man, retire soon. No, keep it up because you're doing a great job. We're so proud of you, and you've really climbed the ranks. Thanks for giving us your time.
Well, good. I enjoyed talking to both of those guys and talking to you also.
He's already retired. We thought he was already retired.
I don't know why I say this real quick. I don't know why people keep coming up to me talking about Ozzie's retired.
right.
He's at the facility before everybody else every single day.
Right.
We talk about retired.
He and Lamar have the same schedule.
Right.
Thanks, dog.
Thanks,
All right,
Oz.
man. I'll talk to you guys. Good talking to you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, we definitely got to have him on next week.
Yeah, we're gonna have him. We're gonna bring him back because obviously everybody know we got a big game coming up, Matt. I mean,
what's funny though is we're sitting here talking with him, and it's hard to ask him questions that I really want to know stuff, but he can't tell me.
Right.
I really want to know some meat. I want to dig in there, but I know he can't tell me. He's gonna be like, "Oh, dog, I can't tell you."
dog,
come on.
big dog. But boy, we got a big game coming up this
do.
week, Gab. I mean, obviously we got the Baltimore Ravens that we're getting ready to jump into, and we'll play them. And you're right. We're not catching Baltimore at a good time right now. Let me tell you why I said this. And Matt, you hit on this talking about Baltimore right now is healthy. I mean, they are getting healthy. When you look at it, I think Ronnie Stanley, the tackle, he's back. Humphrey, the cornerback, he's back. And, boy, they are just getting, like, a lot of these players back, and it's going to be tough right now when we play them. You're talking about two teams. I mean, obviously, I think our defense is playing extremely well, but this Baltimore defense is real too. And I can't wait, Matt, to see the two teams go at it come Sunday.
Right, and when I think about this game, we know that their defense is the number one scoring defense in the league.
Yeah.
They don't give up any points.
Right.
And we know that the Browns' offense hasn't been playing that well, and we're just now getting Deshaun back, and we don't know if he's fully healthy, but we just hope that he gets healthier. And at the same time, our defense is playing well, but Baltimore's offense is playing well also. So it's like, if you're looking at the Cleveland Browns as a football team in this game, what would you rather see? Would you rather see our offense on the field or our defense against Lamar in that offense in terms of trying to win the football game? I think it's up to our offense to keep Lamar off the field, score some points, sustain some drives.
But see, you hit on it, and see, that's what I'm afraid of when you're talking about that, because when you look at the Baltimore Ravens, one thing they can do is run the football. And when you're able to run the football, what does that do, Matt, as far as the other team offense?
They're sitting on the sideline.
They're sitting on the sideline. Tick,
right.
tick, tick. They're on the sideline.
Right.
And I'm telling you, when Baltimore, we can't let them be able to run the football on us, because if we could stop that, we can get them.
All right, we got more to dissect coming up right after this. Welcome back to the Hanford Dixon Show with the Top Dog, and we are also joined today by Eric Metcalf in studio, and we're also going to be bringing on, of course, every week, our game reaction from JT Thompson of Montrose Auto Group. Thanks so much for coming in studio.
Thanks for having me on another Victory Monday.
Oh, yeah, this is the best time.
JT,
Yeah, absolutely.
can you believe she finally have your name right?
I'm
Here
actually
he
very
goes.
pleased. You know,
Here he goes.
Can you believe she finally got it right?
Wait, you couldn't remember JT?
well, she thought my last name was Montrose, which I
I
get.
thought it was with the Montrose group,
I get.
so I thought it was his last
JT
name.
Montrose, dog. You know, I mean,
He's repping Montrose every week, so.
and every time she called it, JT was cringing over there. He was like,
Well, you know, hey.
I gotta say, I really respect the people pleaser in you to not
Right?
correct me.
Well,
first
selfishly,
originally.
I looked at it this way. It's another plug for Montrose.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't really
Sure.
mind it too much.
This is all
but-
about Montrose.
Yeah, of course.
Now it's time to roast Hanford for him and his beloved headphones that he loves to wear when we don't need them. He just wears them for the look, and I just want everyone to know that.
What'd you call it earlier? Cranial decoration?
I
He's
called it
trying to hide
a
that
cranial accessory.
Cranial accessory. That's what it was.
He tried to hide that dome.
Oh man, we're getting crazy on this Victory Monday. Okay, any reactions from you, JT, off the rip?
I mean, it just feels great to have another victory. You know, yesterday the defense was dominant. The offense, started off a little bit sluggish, but, they definitely picked it up, especially in that second half. It was great to see some of the progressions that Deshaun made. I mean, that last throw, that 40-yard bomb that he threw to Amari down the right sideline was just, that was an extended handoff.
Yeah.
If you ask me. I was sitting there at the stadium yesterday watching that going, damn, that was impressive. That was impressive.
You know what, guys? Every week I go and I'll pick what I call my big dog or top dog of the game. And yesterday, before the game, I picked Amari Cooper as my top dog, a big dog. And I'm telling you, boy, did he come through. I think 5 receptions, 139 yards, 1 touchdown. And for a guy that's not as fast as he is,
Yeah.
he always seems to be open. But, JT, I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Deshaun.
Yeah.
I think we all was maybe wondering how he was going to play and if he was going to play well, whether or not he was going to play the whole game.
Yeah.
Were you pretty satisfied with what you saw yesterday from him?
Watching what I saw yesterday, the first couple drives, he looked a little bit – there was some timidness in there or a little bit of hesitancy is what I picked up on. But I think as he kind of settled in, got a little more comfortable with what he was doing, seeing the game, seeing the field develop, he definitely picked it up in that second half. That's why I said that a minute ago. Early in the game where I was sitting, you could see some of the patterns. I mean, there was open receivers out there, and he just, for whatever reason, was not seeing them. And then that second half, he was looking comfortable, which was a good sign that I picked up on. And the next step is, how will that progress against
The Ravens.
one of the best defenses in the NFL next week?
Yeah, how confident are you in him and just our defense and the team?
I'm as confident as I can be. You never know in the NFL. It's a week-to-week league. But that defense, the way they pitched that shutout yesterday, they're going to go up toe-to-toe against any offense, and they're going to make it hell on them. That's for sure. And offensively, I think and I believe that they're going to do the necessary steps to put us in a good position to win. That's what my gut tells me.
And I went into this game thinking I didn't need Deshaun to throw for 300 yards. I just need him to make some throws that mattered, some tight window throws, some long throws like down to Amari Cooper. Do you think that this happens next week against this number 1 rated defense?
It should, because we are
That's
paying
a big
that man a lot of money.
Should and Will can
too confident over there.
Will
JT.
can
Don't sound too confident over there.
I'm a Cleveland fan, lifelong Browns fan. It's
He doesn't want to get ahead of himself.
I don't want to
We
get ahead of
understand.
myself, because every time I do, it's that letdown, and I'm not going to let myself do that.
JT, tell us about Montrose Auto Group.
Well, you can go to gomontrose.com. We've got quite a selection of new vehicles: Land Rover, Jaguar, Volvo, Ford, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram. I know, Gabby, you like the Jeep.
Love it.
We got Chevy, GMC, Nissan, and Kia. So go to gomontrose.com. We got it all. We got about 1,000 used cars around our group on top of the new cars. So there you have it.
Any hot specials real quick?
Kia just came out. All of them are just coming out right now because it's early in the month. But they got some under $300 lease payments with zero to little money down right now.
Cool. Well, thanks so much for coming on. As always, have a great
Love
rest of
being
your
here.
week. And thanks, everybody, for watching the Hanford Dixon Show. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to the Hanford Dixon Show. I'm Gabriella Cruz. We got the top dog, Hanford, in the house. And today we also are joined by Eric Metcalf. Thanks so much for coming in studio with us today. I know we were just starting to look a little bit ahead with Ozzie since we got the Ravens game coming up. But we really should talk about last night or yesterday and how that game unveiled for us. What was your biggest takeaway, Hanford, about Deshaun? What grade would you give him? Since
You know
he was
what?
coming back from injury.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to defer that question to you, Matt, because obviously I got a grade I can give him. Obviously he would pass, but I'm gonna defer that question over and shoot that one over to you.
19 for 30, 219 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions.
I'm gonna go with a B minus, and I say that because, and it's more than a C. Everybody would say he was average, but I see it as, like I said earlier, I wanted him to be able to make a certain amount of throws, right, or certain throws in the game, tight window throws, some long throws. That's all I was really concerned about. I didn't need 300 yards, and of course when he came out there, he's gonna be rusty because he was hurt and had been hurt and probably had some jitters.
Matt, did you see I think what told me that he's on his way back, or he really wasn't having any problems with that shoulder. Did you see the one pass he threw to Cooper on the sideline, and Cooper was being double covered by 2 guys over there, and how he just dropped it right in the breadbasket? I mean, just a perfect throw. Now, that particular throw showed me something.
Right, exactly, and that's what I was talking about, because this is a game, when we went into this game, everybody knew we were going to win this game. It's just how were we going to win it, right? We knew the defense would dominate. We knew Arizona wasn't going to put Kyler Murray out there because they didn't want to throw him to the wolves because they felt they were going to get sacked a lot, which they did 7 times. So, like, going back to Deshaun, it's one of those things about getting him in rhythm, trying to shake that rust off, getting that shoulder warmed up and moving.
He looked a little more comfortable throwing the deep ball than he did some of those short passes, I thought.
And a lot of times, and I attribute it to this, a lot of times, especially with the quarterback, and I've never played quarterback, but I know as a running back and carrying the ball, when you get hit, it gets you more in tuned into the game. So when he started running around and making plays that way, I felt like he had a little more fire in him, added a little more juice to his game as far as his throwing as well.
Well, it's funny you mention that because I think watching him, that swagger came back.
Right.
I mean, that swagger came back because obviously on a couple plays where he you could see him when he was running for the first down, throwing for the first down, and he was just saying, "Hey, man, look, the man is back.
Right.
The man is back, or I'm on my way back." So I was pretty excited with that.
Let's go defense,
Okay.
Hanford. Okay, so
I
first
thought you'd
shutout.
never ask.
Yes, first shutout since 07. We mentioned that off the top. Held Arizona to 58 total yards on 48 plays, 7 sacks. You know, Jim Schwartz has rightfully received so much credit for turning this defense around, but how much credit do you think Andrew Berry deserves for bringing in all these new pieces we have up front?
You know what? I think he deserves a lot of credit. And, you know, the way he's assembled or put this team together, especially that defense, is just, I think it's just phenomenal. And it's really starting to show because they're playing well in all phases of that defense. I'm talking about the coverage. You're talking about the linebackers, the defensive line, and that secondary. They are playing extremely well. It's funny you mentioned that. It was 251 games ago that since they had their shutout, which equals the same thing you were talking about, the 16 years. But these guys, I think Myles Garrett said it during the press conference. He said they played with their hair like their hair was on fire. That's what he said. And I know that's probably a quote that he got from Jim, the defensive coordinator. I thought that was probably coming from him. But these guys yesterday, 7 sacks, 3 turnovers. What they did also, too, is when you look at it, they were controlling the line of scrimmage. And I'm going to tell you something. Jordan Elliott, Dalvin Tomlinson, Harris. I mean, these guys on that front defensive line play that tackle position, just big monster guys, and they're starting to play well. We knew Miles has been playing well. Zadarius, I think, got a sack. I want to say he got a sack yesterday. And Denzel Ward right now is playing with such confidence. And what I like about him, he's not just opening up and run. He's staying in there trying to get some contact, bumping the wide receiver. And they are playing. That defense is just a monster. That's why I said this week, it's going to be for real.
How big a deal do you think Jed Will's injury is for us?
It's a big deal because he's your left tackle. But I think when you have a Bill Callahan as your offensive line coach, he has guys who can swing and play different positions, and they're already ready to do that. So he'll put them in place and still get it done. I think we'll still be able to be successful.
And I think the key to that is he's going to be out a few weeks, but he's not lost for the entire season. That's
right.
That's a key to that. I think Hudson is going to come in, and you got some guys like you said on that offensive line that can move to certain positions and can play well. But he's going to be in the position to come back at.
All right, who do we need to step up against the Ravens? Maybe besides Deshaun.
The whole goddamn team.
Hey,
name a player
coaches,
we really need to ride.
I don't think any of them better get any sleep this week. I mean, because I can tell you this, I bet you those Ravens not sleeping. They understand.
Yeah.
They know what they have to go against, and we have to have that same attitude.
I think it's one of those things where it's gonna definitely have to be someone on the offensive side of the ball. We're gonna have to do something to keep their offense off the field. And granted, they have a top flight defense, and so it's gonna be tough.
Yeah.
But we're gonna have to run the ball even when they know we're gonna run it and take 2-3 yards if that's what they give you, because you're not gonna go out there and bust off no 40-60-yard runs. I don't think so. We have to be able to sustain drives, 100% not turn the ball over.
Turnovers.
No
Limit
turnovers.
those turnovers.
Limit and go from there.
And I'll tell you this, the kid I asked Ozzie about, the kid Mitchell.
Yeah.
I mean, this kid last week, he had 2 big runs. He had a 40-yard touchdown run, and he broke another one for 60 yards. I mean, the kid only had 9 carries, I think, Matt. 9 carries. What'd you say, 138 yards.
And you know what's crazy is that as good as our defense has been, they've given up a lot of big plays. And so we gotta limit those for sure.
Especially under crunch time. All right, we're going to do some preview for the game coming up next week. We got to take one more break, and we'll be back after this. Welcome back to the Hanford Dixon Show with the top dog, Hanford Dixon. Today we're joined in studio by Eric Metcalf. We've been previewing this big game we've got coming up against the Ravens. Is this a must-win game? What do you think?
I think it is. I think it is because we're starting to meet to the meat of the schedule. And what I mean by that, we're starting to play teams in our same division, the AFC North. I think we got the Baltimore, and then after that, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers. So 2 teams. And we cannot afford to fall behind anymore. I think we're 2 games behind, Ravens 7-2, and then is everybody else in the AFC North. So, Matt, I think this is pretty much a must-win for us.
Well, I look at it like this, and they're 2 games behind in the win column, 1 game behind the loss column, and I don't necessarily think it's a must-win game in the respect that we can still make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's more of a must-win game for their confidence,
Keeping pace.
for their confidence and being able and knowing that they can go into a stadium in the AFC North and win. And so they haven't been able to do that for the most part in the last few years. And I think if they do that, it gives them confidence moving forward. Because at this point, I actually thought that they would be 5-3 going to Baltimore. When I was going through this schedule early before the season, I said they'd be 5-3 going to this game. And I honestly said they would lose this game because it's in Baltimore, and Baltimore's a good team.
The Browns, they've only won one in Baltimore. They've only won once in Baltimore since 2015. So why is it so hard to win on the road in this division?
Tough place to play. I mean, Baltimore is a tough place to play, and it's not going to be. I guarantee you that place is going to be rocking. I mean, it's just going to be absolutely rocking. For some reason, we're going to have to find a way to block out the noise there, which is not going to be easy. But I think what's going to happen is, what's going to be key is Deshaun has to play well. He's got to play well, but he's going to have his work cut out for him because when you look at the Baltimore Ravens, they have 3 really good safeties. Mm-hmm. And I think Kyle Hamilton is the biggest safety they have, but Geno Stone, I mentioned him earlier. I mean, people don't understand. This guy's leading the league or tied for the league in interceptions. He's got 6 already this year, and his play, and then they got another kid, Williams. So not only are they tough up front, but they're tough also like us on the back end. So this is going to be a key game. I mean, you talking about somebody that's just going to, I don't think I'm going to eat a pizza, but I'm going to be right in front of the, the set watching every second, every minute of this ball game.
And when you talk about this defense, that's why I think when we're talking about the Browns offense, you have to make plays. And so I don't think that we're going to be successful if Stefanski says, okay, we're going to complete 10-plus passes over 20 yards. I'm looking for somebody to catch a 5 to 6 yard ball and turn it into something big, and we haven't seen that thus far. Those are the type of things that win these type of games because it's tough to go in these places. They haven't won theirs, like you said, only once since 2015. Granted, their teams have been better than our teams in these previous years, but when you have a team that is formidable and can go in there and possibly beat this team, you cannot make mistakes.
Yeah, Ravens averaging 26.6 points per game and allowing 13.8. Browns averaging 22.6 and allowing 17.4. We got to get our bets in, you guys. What do you think? Over under 38.5 total points.
Ooh, over under 38.5. I'm going to say over. Even though we're playing 2 powerhouse defenses, but I think both of these teams have offenses that could score. So I'm gonna say over.
I'm gonna lean over also.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I'm gonna lean over also because I think that they both are dynamic on defense, but at the same time, they can be both dynamic on offense. And so I feel like somebody's going to score some points. It's going to be a slugfest, and whoever makes the fewest mistakes will win.
All right. Cleveland opened as 5.5-point underdogs. Are the Browns going to pull off this upset on the road?
Oh, you would. You want me to get it first, dog?
You can get it first. You can get it first.
You know what I'm going to say? It's going to be tough, but I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say we are because I think we have more to lose. I'm going to say yes. I think we beat the Baltimore Ravens.
All right.
I'm gonna flip. I'm gonna say yes, and I think as well as Baltimore's offense has been playing, I think our defense can force them into some turnovers that will determine the outcome.
Matt, real quick before we go to break, your most memorable punt return for a touchdown.
Obviously, 2 punt returns against Pittsburgh. I can't say one. I got to say both of them.
Yeah, how you like that? I mean, I asked him for one, but he's got so many of them.
If you know
That's
this
one
guy
moment.
and his resume, he's not going to not point that out.
It's not favorite punt return. It's one moment.
Right.
Thank you, guys. And thank you, Eric, so much for coming on. We definitely got to have you back. And let's go Browns.
Thanks for having me. Go Browns.
Welcome back to the Hanford Dixon Show. We are just wrapping up. Hanford, do you think that the Ravens is the best team in the AFC North?
Oh, my. I know you was going to ask me that. I know you was going to come to me with a question like that.
They're looking awfully dominant.
Oh, my God. You know what, Gab? And I'm going to answer this truth. I mean, I think they are. I think right now, I think they're playing extremely well. You've heard me say this time and time again on our show. I think they should be actually 7-0 right now. Gave 2 games away. They actually gave 2 games away. I think one particular game, the receivers dropped like 8 passes, and a couple of them were touchdowns. And I remember watching one particular game where I think Flowers was wide open. Lamar throws the ball, and this guy just slips down. I mean, just falls down. I mean, it's crazy. But the Baltimore Ravens right now are peaking at the right time. They're a good football team, and the reason why I say, even though our defense is playing extremely well, I just don't think our offense is up to par where their offense is right now, because Lamar is just is playing out of his mind. But to answer your question, yes, I think the Baltimore Ravens are.
Yeah, that's one of the things I really took away from Ozzie was his comments about Lamar and his leadership. How big of a role do you think just being a leader plays when it comes to the quarterback position and how that impacts the rest of the team?
Boy, that's huge. I mean, that is absolutely huge because obviously they don't pay those guys a lot of money just to they pay them a lot to perform and be the quarterback, but a lot of especially young guys look up to these guys. So but that leadership role, especially at the quarterback position, is just huge. Gab, I have something for you. Did we have
What's
a good
that?
show today?
I feel like we had a great show. We got Ozzie on, we got Eric in. We dealt with some technical difficulties, and our producer, shout out to Michael Bohm, got us through. And so
Was Eric a lot better than you thought he was going to be?
he was all right. He's still in studio. He can hear me. He's pretty good. I think we'll have him back. Thanks so much for watching the Hanford Dixon Show. See you next week.